Biden got to get it together. He's got to tighten it up. And if he was supposed to send Kamala down there to do it, she needs to go down there and do whatever it is that she was supposed to do. Because this ain't it.
Hey, my friends. Hey, my friends. How y'all doing? So, yeah, here we are. U.S. Border Patrol. I didn't even know they had whips. Y'all knew they had whips? I guess they did. Oh, yeah. If you're liking my channel, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Right now, do it. Again, in 2021. 2021. So here's another picture, because I was like, well, maybe it's spam or something. Nope. This is an image of a U.S. Border Patrol agent on horseback screaming at and chasing desperate Haitians reverberate, I hate that word, across the internet. It's going around the internet. Reverberating around the internet. So here we are on the heels of everything else we have to deal with. And then we have a story where people are on horseback chasing Haitians who are of African descent back across the border. Now, historically, again, some of you, as I've said before, I'm from Miami, Florida. So historically, and I remember there's a few of you that are from Florida as well. And if you've lived, especially in the 80s, early 90s, 70s, you know that there is a direct difference on how they treated other immigrants, i.e. Cubans, versus Haitians when they cross. Cubans can crawl and get their tongue on the ground, the flat land. They don't even have to make it to land. And they're receiving heroes welcome. They're going to get what they need, services and everything. And Haitians, on the other hand, I have seen this with my own eyes, are treated just as what we've seen. I've never seen this horse thing, but I've seen where they'll turn that raft right on back, or they'll let them come in and they won't be able to seek asylum, and they will send them right back home. Two totally different approaches to immigration, seeking asylum, and everything else. It's the same thing here. And those of us that are on the Mexican border, completely, I find it interesting that, we're fighting to keep Mexicans out, and not we, but people are fighting to get Mexicans out. The border, they're the cartel and all this other stuff. And then you have the Afghanistan refugees who are not only welcome, but they welcomed and well taken care of without a COVID test or anything. So am I surprised about this story? Yes and no. Yes, because I've never seen the horses. Let me show y'all the picture of it again. I've never seen them use the horses and the whips. Like, really? The horses and the whips. So that's necessary. I don't know, y'all. I know that one thing that this administration on the heels, or not on the heels, but coming from the previous administration and probably the previous one prior to that, has a serious problem on the border. And the past couple of weeks, I'm like, we're not hearing anything about this border. Kamala was supposed to go down to the border. The border seems to be out of control. But, I've said it before on other lives. The conversation, the focus seems to be solely on the vaccine, the shot, the this and that and the other, and everything else in America is just kind of getting the second hand. So that's a concern of mine, that, in this day and age, there's still a direct difference on how people are being policed, how asylum seekers are being treated differently. And that's not cool. It's not okay. So let's comment. If you're catching a replay, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you comment. Y'all know I will comment in my comment section of the replay. So yeah, let's talk about it. So here we go. The border is overran right now. Did you see the overhead shots? Yes. That's what I'm saying. I was just responding to the overhead shots of Mexicans and Biden needs to tighten up. And whatever that means, because here's the thing, he doesn't have the luxury of the other administrations. Right now, the light is being shot. You back from your walk. We know this happened under other previous administrations, but right now, we know that this is a media ran country. We all know that, but the media can't lie and report on this if it wasn't true. In other words, we see it. We see the borders overran. I see the man on a horse with the whip in 2021. Biden got to get it together. He's got to tighten it up. And if he was supposed to send Kamala down there to do it, she needs to go down there and do whatever it is that she was supposed to do, because this ain't it. Okay. I hear myself. I think my husband's listening to me. Y'all can't hear it though. So why did the Haitians bypass all other sanctioned countries to come to the U.S.? Because first of all, living in Miami, I could tell you there's a large Haitian and Cuban population. So they probably want to go where their family is at. Number two, whether we see it or not, or whether other people, we as Americans take for granted of how we are viewed, generally speaking, in other countries. The land of the free, the home of the brave. People come here with that mentality that there's opportunity. They just want the opportunity. They just want that piece of pie in the sky. And and as much as someone may have a different opinion and someone else may have a different opinion, people really, really believe that this is the land of opportunity, and they will do whatever it is to get here to gain that opportunity. So that means passing the Bahamas and wherever else they pass. I don't think they pass Bahamas. No, I don't pass Bahamas. But wherever they pass, they're going to come to America. Families there, especially if they're of Cuban descent, they're going to get everything that they need. And there's a conversation that could be had about asylum and seeking asylum and how it was reimagined and redefined over the previous administration. Like, it's not illegal to seek asylum. Mexicans are fighting to keep Mexicans out because of supply and demand. If they come in, they'll undercut their jobs. They walking through Mexico. Past the cartel, almost losing their life to come to America. I love to watch the documentaries on this. And I watched this one documentary, and the route that these people take to get here and sometimes be sent right back is absolutely like, wow. Trash Can Wave says, well, that's how I imagine him saying. I'm talking about Mexican Americans. Okay. Oh, well, that's a whole nother live, because I'm telling you, I got educated about that. I got you. So let's reread it. So he's talking about Mexican Americans. Mexicans are fighting to keep Mexicans out because of supply and demand. If they come in, they'll undercut their jobs. That and the fact that I learned during the Trump administration, the election cycle. I know in other cultures, especially in Miami, there's different hierarchies of the Caribbean. We are better than this one. The Dominican's better than that one. Da, 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 da. Light skin, black, dark skin, black, whatever. But what I found so confusing, especially living here in Arizona, I was so confused about. Let me do this. I was so confused at how some Mexicans, Cuban Americans, Hispanics could support a Trump based on his conversation, his stance, and everything. And this Mexican girl, she told me, she said, Melissa, that's because they think they're better than us. So if you are first generation Mexican American, so that means I don't know why I said that. Basically, if you were born here, right? So the Mexicans that were born here think that they're better than the ones that are migrating over. So it's the same thing that we as African Americans, not even African Americans, Americans, that's the problem. One of the problems that I had with Trump. How dare you talk this way when your people were immigrants? Your wife is a whole immigrant. Your in-laws are whole immigrants. And like, right as, I can't remember, don't date it, but like recent years, your people got their visa and their citizenship. How dare you talk about those people like that? But it's the same thing with the Mexicans. It is supply and demand for jobs, but more importantly than that, the Mexican Americans absolutely were 100% Trump, because they didn't see themselves as Mexican. They see themselves as American and better than. Sunshine Shishi says, yes, I was confused about that as well. It was so confusing. It was so confusing. And it was a talking point that I had with some of his followers, among other things. And she finally explained it. She was my nail tech at the time. And she said, and this was well before last year. She was like, no, Melissa, he thinks those Mexicans, and she was Mexican. That's the part I forgot to mention. She wasn't born here. She said, no, they think that they're better than us. They don't see themselves as Mexican. They see themselves as Americans. So they think that they're better. So there's even classism within their race. Crazy. Well, technically Biden literally fought to segregate schools. So I'm not a racial so that it's not a racial jungle for kids. Yeah. Rosalind Johnson, hey girl, thank you for popping in. We're rounding out the live. I got one more story and then we'll just open it up and see what everybody wants to talk about. But it's good to see you. And if you're catching the replay, make sure you like, comment, share this video, subscribe to my channel. But y'all know what I always say, don't just subscribe, interact. Got to get the interaction. If you're liking my channel, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Right now, do it.
The next day.
So the U.S. Border Patrol can be seen here whipping, abusing Haitian immigrants that are trying to cross over to the border. Now, here's the thing. There's no doubt that there's a crisis at the border. Unbelievable. And we know this is absolutely unacceptable. The actions come during an immigrant crisis. So we know that there's a crisis. We have the overhead view here, and we know that it's a problem. But at the end of the day, number one, who knew that America was using whips to round up humans in 2021? Like, I'm still stuck on the whips and the horseback. Like, look at this image. The Biden administration's press secretary was under fire this morning during a news conference where she was pressed by news reporters like April Ryan as to the repercussions, the consequences that will happen to these U.S. agents that are border agents that are seemingly whipping and, mistreating Haitian immigrants, migrants that are seeking asylum in the United States for whatever reason. It doesn't justify. Yeah, so let's take a look at what happened at the press conference.
Border agents on horseback using what appear to be whips on Haitian migrants. Does the administration view that as an appropriate tactic? Can you speak to that? There are people who are upset about it.
Yeah, understandably so. I've seen some of the footage. I don't have the full context. I can't imagine what context would make that appropriate, but I don't have additional details. And certainly, I don't have additional context. April, I don't think anyone seeing that footage would think it was acceptable or appropriate.
I want to follow up on the question about Haitians and it's specifically these photos that are surfacing on Border Patrol agents seemingly using whips. I know you said that there's no context that it would be seen as inappropriate. So the question really is, why would this be happening under the Biden administration? Is this going to stop? What would I wonder sort of what are going to be the consequences if what we're seeing is what we're seeing?
I mean, Yamiche, it's all good questions. We just saw this footage. It's horrible to watch. I just have to get more information on it. Again, April, I don't have more information on it. I've also seen the video. I can't imagine what the scenario is where that would be appropriate. I'm certainly not suggesting that, but we've just seen the footage earlier this morning.
On the photo, I know you said that you're still assessing it, but just to add, if this is what we see, is it the president's stance or the White House's stance that whoever these border agents are using what seems to be whips on migrants, that they would be fired or at least never be able to do that again?
Of course, they should never be able to do it again. I don't know what the circumstances would be. It's obviously horrific, the footage. I don't have any more information on it, so let me venture to do that, and we'll see if there's more to convey. Karen, go ahead. I think, April, I absolutely understand your question. I think I've been very clear about how horrific the footage is. I don't have more information. As a U.S. official, I have a responsibility to get more context and information.
So it is clear that the Biden administration is just now finding out, just now seeing these photos. And when I say just now, I mean they are surprised. Like, Jenny Pataki is obviously not prepared to answer anything beyond this is horrendous, this is unacceptable. And the reporters are really, really taxing her to really give an account to what the president's stance is. And I think it's pretty simple. As much as I understand what the press secretary is saying, I think that people want answers, and they want answers now. So if they're just now seeing the photos this morning, they should come out with a strong stance as if it was something, as if America was being bombed, because that's what some of us feel like the Black community, the immigrant community, whoever, like we feel bombed right now. So with that being said, leave a comment down below. Do you think that the press secretary is handling this appropriately? I'm okay, but I'm waiting. Like, this was this morning, so I'm waiting by this afternoon, definitely by this evening. You need to come back out and give us an answer. So I'm going to give her a little teeny tiny break, but at the same time, I understand the need for more forcefulness, for her to be more direct. And it just seems like they're not prepared to give an answer, but also just was not prepared for this to, like, they were shocked. It was a surprise. So, yeah, the U.S. is using whips and horses, a la chain gang, a la slavery days, a la bounty hunters, to remove people from the border. Let me know what you think. This is insane. Leave a comment down below. With that being said, my friend, be kind to one another and be the reason why someone smiles. Bye-bye.